Your thoughts right now are shaping everything you're about to experience. Feel the excitement building in your chest now. Have you ever felt stuck, watching life just pass by while your dreams stay out of reach? In the next few minutes, you'll discover how a single shift in your thinking can create opportunities you didn't even know existed. We'll dive into simple routines that spark real change, show you how to silence doubt, and guide you to focus on what truly matters. You'll feel the weight lift as stress gives way to clear purpose, and you'll sense your confidence grow with every word. If you're ready to break free from fear, stop wasting energy on things you can't control, and finally attract the life you want, stay with us. I promise you'll walk away with tools you can use today to start transforming your mind and your life. Let's get started. Chapter 1. Train your thoughts to focus on one goal. Every day your mind is pulled in 100 directions. Notifications, opinions, fears, comparisons, doubts, they all compete for space in your thoughts. And without realizing it, you give in. You wake up and your mind drifts toward what you don't have, who you're not, what went wrong yesterday, and what could go wrong tomorrow. Your thoughts scatter like broken glass, and in that chaos your power disappears. If you want to attract what you want, if you want to live a life that reflects your potential, the first thing you must do is bring your mind under control. And that starts with one thing: choosing one goal and directing your entire thought life toward it with discipline, intensity, and calm focus. Not 5 goals, not scattered hopes. One goal, the most important one, the one that moves your life forward in a real, measurable way. Clarity is power. When your mind is clear on what matters most, your actions follow. When your actions align with your intentions, momentum builds. And when momentum builds, confidence grows. That's how success starts, not with motivation but with clarity followed by repeated mental focus. If you try to chase everything, you'll catch nothing. But if you train your thoughts to circle one thing every day, you will eventually master it. Start by asking yourself, what do I truly want right now more than anything else? Choose something real, not something vague like happiness or success, but something concrete. A goal you can track, a target that matters to you deeply. Maybe it's building your own business. Maybe it's mastering your fitness. Maybe it's improving your mental health. Choose one. Once you choose it, decide that it matters more than your excuses, your fears, your comfort, and your past. Every day, bring it to the front of your mind. First thing in the morning, think about it, see it, feel what it will be like to accomplish it. And then, this is where most people fail. Don't let your thoughts drift. Keep your mental energy focused on it throughout your day. You must guard your mind like a soldier on a mission. If a thought does not serve your goal, question it, challenge it, replace it. Mental discipline isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, day by day, through conscious effort. When your mind wants to drift to doubt, bring it back to your goal. When your emotions flare up from fear, refocus on your goal. When distractions beg for attention, return to your goal. The repetition builds strength, and eventually your mind stops wandering so easily. You build a mental muscle that most people never develop, the ability to concentrate fully on what truly matters. This is not about obsession or pressure, it's about living with intention. Most people live on autopilot. They react, they complain, they wait, and they get nowhere. You must train yourself to live deliberately. When your mind obeys your direction, your life begins to change, because you're no longer wasting energy. You're no longer divided between what you want and what distracts you. You become aligned, and that alignment creates power. Each morning, review your goal. Don't just think about it passively. Engage with it. Write it down, speak it out loud, visualize how achieving it will feel. Then, throughout the day, ask yourself simple questions. Are my thoughts helping or hurting this goal? Is this action bringing me closer or pulling me away? Am I wasting energy on things that don't move the needle? The more you ask these questions, the more awareness you build, and awareness is the beginning of control. Most people live mentally scattered because they never question their thoughts. They let fear talk, they let doubt talk, they let the past talk. But they never stop to say, does this thought deserve space in my mind? If not, reject it, replace it, refocus. Your mind is not a storage unit for random emotions and opinions. It's a weapon, it's a tool, it's the command center of your life. And like any powerful tool, it must be used wisely. You wouldn't swing a sword wildly and expect to hit your target, so why do that with your thoughts? To control your mind, build daily rituals that protect your focus. Start your morning in silence, even just 5 minutes to clear away noise. Write down your goal again. Set your intention for the day, then begin. As the day goes on, check in with yourself. Pause once in the afternoon and ask, is my mind still focused on what matters, or have I drifted? Realign, refocus. End your day with reflection. What worked? Where did I lose focus? What will I do better tomorrow? This level of attention changes everything. It forces you to stop living like a victim of your habits and emotions. It puts you in charge again. You'll begin to notice something powerful. The more you focus on your goal, the more your environment begins to reflect that goal back to you. You meet people aligned with your mission. You spot opportunities you once ignored. You start to attract what you want, not by wishing for it, but by aligning your thoughts and actions with it so consistently that the world has no choice but to respond. This is not magic. This is focus. And focus is rare. Most people drift. You must choose to direct. You must become ruthless with your mind. That doesn't mean you can't rest or enjoy life. It means your resting is intentional, your breaks are purposeful, and your joy doesn't come from escaping your responsibilities, but from seeing your growth and knowing you are moving forward. You won't get this perfect every day. You'll have moments of distraction. You'll slip. But the point is not perfection. The point is consistency. If you keep returning to your goal, if you keep realigning your thoughts, you will build momentum. And once you have momentum, everything feels lighter. Action becomes easier. Decisions become faster. Your belief in yourself becomes unshakable. So now the question is simple. What's your one goal? Choose it. Commit to it. Begin today by training your thoughts to serve it. From the moment you wake up to the time you sleep, let it shape your thoughts, fuel your focus, and guide your behavior. The more your thoughts center on what you truly want, the more that want becomes reality. Not someday, but soon, because you're not waiting for the world to change. You're changing your mind. And that changes everything. If you control your mind, you control your life. If you focus your thoughts, you shape your reality. Choose one goal and lock your attention on it until it becomes real. That is the beginning of transformation. That is the path to self-mastery. And that is how you start to attract exactly what you want. Chapter 2. Eliminate negative self-talk and speak with belief. You will never rise above the level of your thoughts if your inner voice keeps dragging you down. Every single day you speak to yourself more than anyone else ever will. In quiet moments, in times of stress, in those silent, hidden places of your mind, your voice echoes. The question is, what does it say? For most people, that voice is not a coach, it's a critic. It points out every flaw, every failure, every doubt. It repeats old fears like they're facts. It mocks ambition, dismisses effort, and poisons progress with whispers of "you're not good enough." And the truth is, if you keep listening to that voice, you'll start to believe it. That belief becomes identity. And once your identity is built on self-doubt, you start living small even when your potential is massive. Negative self-talk is not just harmless noise, it's mental sabotage. It stops action before it starts. It kills creativity. It robs you of confidence. You can have talent, vision, and work ethic, but if the story in your mind is against you, it doesn't matter. You won't follow through. You won't push through resistance. You won't step into growth. You'll retreat. You'll hesitate. You'll sabotage yourself in subtle ways until your reality reflects the lies you've repeated. This is not just about motivation. This is about survival, mental survival. Because if your mind becomes a battlefield, and you never learn to defend yourself against the enemy within, you lose. And that loss is quiet. It's not dramatic. It's slow, steady resignation. One day you just stop trying, not because you couldn't win, but because your own thoughts convinced you that you never could. But there is a way out. There's a way to take back control. You have to reprogram the voice in your mind. You have to become intentional with your self-talk. You have to speak to yourself with belief, especially when it feels uncomfortable, especially when the past is screaming otherwise, especially when fear tries to argue back. Because if you don't control your self-talk, it will control you. The process starts with awareness. Pay attention to the words you tell yourself in quiet moments. When you make a mistake, what do you hear? When you're about to try something new, what comes up? Do your thoughts empower you, or do they shrink you? Start catching the patterns. Write them down. Make them real. Don't fight them, observe them. Most of the negative things you say to yourself aren't original. They're not facts. They're echoes. Echoes from childhood, from failure, from environments that taught you to play small. But just because you've thought a lie 1,000 times doesn't make it true. Now here's the turning point. You must replace every limiting sentence with one of belief, not fantasy, not toxic positivity, real belief, grounded truth. Instead of "I always mess things up," say, "I've failed before, but I'm learning how to succeed." Instead of "I'm not smart enough," say, "I'm growing smarter every day through effort and experience." Speak words that challenge you to rise, not retreat. Say what you need to hear, even if you don't fully believe it yet, because the more you repeat it, the more it becomes real. Your brain doesn't know the difference between what's imagined and what's experienced. It just follows repetition. What you say repeatedly, you start to believe. What you believe, you start to act on. And what you act on becomes your life. This isn't just motivational fluff. This is neuroscience. Your words literally rewire your brain. When you shift your self-talk, you create new neural pathways that support your growth. You shift your identity from insecure to confident, from passive to active, from lost to focused. And identity is what drives long-term change. Think of your self-talk like planting seeds. Every thought is a seed. Negative thoughts plant weeds. Belief plants fruit. The problem is most people never stop planting weeds. They don't even notice they're doing it. They make a mistake and immediately say, "I'm such an idiot." They face a challenge and whisper, "I can't do this." They get rejected and repeat, "I'll never be enough." These thoughts seem small in the moment, but they grow, they take root, and eventually your mind becomes overgrown with beliefs that hold you back from everything you're capable of. You must become ruthless about pulling those weeds out. The second you hear self-doubt, confront it. Don't let it settle in. Don't entertain it. Replace it immediately. Speak belief into yourself with intensity. Say what you wish someone else had told you years ago. Say what you need to become, not what you fear you are. This is your responsibility. No one is coming to clean up your thoughts for you. No one is going to rescue your mindset. You have to rise and speak truth to the lies in your head until they stop sounding so convincing. This is how change starts, not with perfect habits or 10-step plans, but with how you speak to yourself when no one is watching. It's in the mirror. It's in the moments of silence. It's in the way you carry yourself when no one else is clapping. Belief is not loud. It's not boastful, it's quiet, it's steady, it's the calm voice that says, keep going, you've got this, you're becoming more capable every single day. And when you start to speak that way, everything shifts, your posture changes, your energy changes, your decisions become bolder. You stop waiting for permission, you start owning your space, you stop apologizing for wanting more, you begin to move like someone who expects to win, and that changes how people respond to you, it changes how opportunities find you, it changes how your future unfolds. This is not about arrogance, it's about self-respect. Speaking to yourself with belief is not pretending you're flawless, it's reminding yourself you're capable, resourceful, and worthy of trying. It's refusing to let your inner voice become a bully. It's choosing to speak life into your mind instead of death. If you want to attract what you want, you must first stop pushing it away with self-sabotaging language. Your words are magnets. What you say to yourself determines what you'll pursue, what you'll expect, and what you'll allow. Speak with belief, even when it feels unfamiliar. Keep saying it until it becomes your normal, until confidence feels natural, until hope feels like home. You've been listening to doubt long enough. It's time to become your own source of power. It's time to replace I can't with I'm capable. Replace I'm not enough with I'm just getting started. Replace what if I fail with what if this works. Train your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. And every time you choose belief over fear, progress over perfection, action over hesitation, you rewrite the story you live by. Now speak like someone who means it. Speak like someone who is tired of shrinking. Speak like someone who knows their future is listening. Chapter 3. Visualize your success clearly every single morning. If you can't see your success in your mind, you'll never hold it in your hands. Every morning you wake up, your mind is either a tool or a trap. It either moves you forward with clarity or it repeats yesterday's confusion and fear. That's the truth nobody tells you. Your day doesn't start with your alarm clock. It starts with your mental picture. The images you allow into your mind when you wake up shape how you feel, how you act, and who you become. And if you don't take control of that, your life will always feel like a reaction to chaos, instead of a clear mission you're creating. Most people open their eyes and immediately reconnect to their problems. They remember what went wrong yesterday. They think about who let them down. They scroll through noise that hijacks their focus before they even leave the bed. And what does that do? It conditions their mind to expect struggle. It clouds their ability to think clearly. It trains their brain to expect more of what they don't want. And this loop continues every day until someone breaks it. You break it by training your mind to start with vision. You take your first few waking moments and you force your focus forward. You picture your success so clearly that your emotions shift. You imagine your future with such detail that your present mindset upgrades instantly. And that's where everything begins to change, not because of some magic, but because you rewire your psychology from the moment the day begins. Here's what people don't realize. Your brain is a prediction machine. It filters reality through what it expects. When you visualize your success, you give your brain a new target. You're not just imagining something nice, you're giving your mind something real to aim at. You are programming it to look for solutions, opportunities, and decisions that align with that picture. Without that, your brain defaults to old patterns, old worries, old habits, old fears. That's why visualization isn't a luxury, it's a discipline, and it's one of the most powerful mental tools you'll ever use. Think about the top athletes, the top entrepreneurs, the most successful leaders in any field. They all use visualization. Not one of them leaves their progress up to chance. They see their victories before they live them. They walk through their success in their minds before they walk it out in reality. That's not superstition. That's preparation. That's wiring your nervous system to perform with certainty. It's aligning your emotions with your vision before the world tests you, and you don't need hours to do it. You need 5 minutes, 5 focused minutes in the morning, where your entire focus is on the future you are building. Close your eyes and go there. Picture yourself achieving your biggest goal. What do you see? What are you wearing? Where are you standing? How do you feel in that moment? What does your posture look like? What are people around you saying? Make it real, make it vivid. Your brain responds to detail. It responds to emotion. The clearer you see it, the faster your subconscious begins to believe it. Now let me make something clear. This isn't about fantasy. This isn't pretending your life is perfect. This is about building mental alignment, because once your mind believes the vision, your behavior starts to match it. You wake up with energy, you take action you used to avoid, you stay calm under pressure, you think creatively when things get hard. Why? Because you've already been there in your mind. It's no longer unfamiliar. It's no longer overwhelming. You've walked the path mentally, and now you're just catching up physically. And here's where most people fail. They think about their goals randomly. They visualize once and expect miracles. That's not how this works. Consistency creates momentum. You don't brush your teeth once a week and expect them to stay clean. The same goes for your mind. You must visualize your success every single morning until it becomes your baseline. Until the future you want feels familiar, until it's harder to doubt yourself than it is to believe. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your standards. And the standard must be this: every day I see the version of me that I'm becoming. Every day I speak to the future like it's already forming. Every day I fuel my thoughts with the image of who I'm meant to be, not the image of who I used to be. And when setbacks come, and they will, you return to the vision. When doubt creeps in, you shut it down with clarity. When you're tired, the picture of your future becomes your energy, because the truth is, nothing happens until your mind shifts. You can have the right strategy, the right habits, the right work ethic, but if your vision is cloudy, your life will reflect that. Success starts with sight. It begins with what you believe is possible, and it lives in the images you allow to take root. You cannot outperform your vision. If you don't see it, you won't create it. And don't wait until you feel confident. That day may never come on its own. You must generate confidence by showing up to your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. Your identity, your results, your direction, they all begin in the quiet moments when you choose what to picture, what to focus on, what to feel. Train your mind to believe in the future you want before the evidence shows up. That's how vision becomes reality. That's how average becomes elite. So stop waking up and repeating the past. Stop reinforcing problems and pain. Start visualizing strength. Start visualizing breakthroughs. Start visualizing the version of you that does not give up, that does not complain, that does not settle. Picture yourself disciplined. Picture yourself winning. Picture yourself focused, unstoppable, and calm under pressure. And keep that image in your mind all day long. Because once you master that, once your mornings are guided by vision instead of distraction, your days start aligning with progress. Your weeks stack with momentum, your months build results, and your life transforms from the inside out, not because the world changed, but because you finally did. If this hit you deep, if it sparked something in you, then don't let it fade. Make tomorrow morning your first mission. No matter how tired, no matter how busy, take 5 minutes, close your eyes and see your success. Speak it, feel it, believe it, then go live it. Chapter 4. Direct your energy only to what you control. You are wasting your life every time you give energy to something you cannot control. That pain you carry, that anxiety pulling you apart, that frustration that never seems to leave, it's not always because life is unfair. It's often because you keep investing your energy into people, situations, and outcomes that you were never meant to control in the first place. And until you reclaim that energy and direct it inward, you will keep waking up tired, angry, and distracted, no matter how hard you try to stay positive. Most people are running on emotional fumes because they spend every day reacting. They obsess over how someone treated them, how others perceive them, what might go wrong next week, or why things didn't go their way. They scroll through endless opinions, argue with people who don't matter, and internalize pressure from a world that doesn't even know who they are. That's how peace disappears. Not all at once, but in quiet, constant leaks of attention. You get one life, one mind, one set of energy per day, and the question is simple: are you pouring that into what moves you forward, or are you throwing it away on battles you were never meant to fight? You can't control how people think. You can't change the past. You can't force life to obey your timeline, but you can control your response. You can direct your thoughts. You can choose your focus. And when you do that, your entire life begins to shift, not because the outside world becomes easier, but because your inner world becomes unshakable. You need to hear this. Every time you fixate on what's out of your hands, you give up your power. And every time you choose to center your energy on what is within your control, you become stronger, more stable, more grounded. That's not motivational fluff. That's mental discipline. It's the choice to stop leaking your energy and start leading your energy. There's a reason high performers stay calm under pressure. It's not that they avoid stress. It's that they've trained themselves to protect their attention. When something goes wrong, they don't collapse emotionally. They immediately ask, what can I do? What's in my hands? And that's where all their power flows. Not into blame, not into drama, not into fear, but into action. Your peace begins the moment you stop arguing with reality, the moment you stop expecting people to change just because you want them to, the moment you stop reliving old stories, trying to rewrite them in your mind. You can't change the weather, but you can prepare for the storm. You can't force someone to understand you, but you can speak with clarity and dignity. You can't control outcomes, but you can control effort. And when you live like that, you don't feel powerless anymore. You feel free. Think about how much energy you've wasted trying to prove your worth. Think about the hours you've lost stuck in your head over things already done. Think about how many mornings you've woken up tired, not because of physical work, but because of mental clutter. That's the cost of distraction. That's the price of giving your power away. But imagine waking up and immediately anchoring yourself in what you can control: your routine, your mindset, your tone, your effort. Imagine starting your day by locking into what you can do instead of spiraling over what might happen. That changes everything. That gives you momentum. That helps you build real results, because now your energy is working for you, not against you. You want peace. You want focus. You want to build a life that feels strong from the inside out. Then you have to become ruthless with your attention, ruthless with what you allow into your emotional space, ruthless with how you respond to the noise. That doesn't mean you become cold. It means you become clear, clear about what drains you, clear about what builds you, clear about what you can affect and what you must release. Because here's the hard truth: you can do everything right, and some things still won't work out. That person might still walk away. That opportunity might still fall through. That plan might still change. But if your energy was directed at what you could control, the discipline, the preparation, the effort, then it wasn't wasted. It became part of your growth. It became part of your power. And that means you didn't lose anything. You evolved. The people who win in life aren't the ones who avoid chaos. They're the ones who stop feeding it. They stop giving it attention. They stop letting it occupy their mind for free. Instead, they take all that energy and pour it into building, into creating, into sharpening their habits and deepening their purpose. And over time they rise, not because life handed them peace, but because they built it from within. So what if, today, you stopped giving power to everything outside your reach? What if you stopped trying to control the outcome, and you mastered the input? What if you stopped chasing validation, and started locking into self-respect? What if you let go of the noise, and became obsessed with the process? Because the truth is this: control isn't found in holding everything tight. It's found in focusing on what's real, and what's real is this moment, this breath, this step, this choice. You don't control what's behind you. You don't control what's ahead, but you control what you do now. And that's where all your power lives. Let today be the day you stop leaking your energy. Let it be the day you stop negotiating your peace with situations that don't deserve your attention. Let it be the day you reclaim your focus, your clarity, your fire, and pour it into what you can control, because that's where your freedom begins, and that's where your future is built. If this message struck a chord in you, don't just nod and move on. Live it, practice it, protect your energy like your future depends on it, because it absolutely does. Chapter 5. Discipline your emotions before they take over. Your emotions will either build your future or destroy it, depending on whether you control them or they control you. There comes a point where you have to stop letting how you feel dictate how you live. Because emotions are powerful, they can drive action, create connection, and push you forward. But if you don't train them, they can also make you sabotage everything you've worked for in one impulsive moment. Think about how many people have lost opportunities, ruined relationships, or quit too soon, not because they lacked potential, but because they couldn't control a storm inside them. You've probably had days where your mood took over everything. One small inconvenience turned into a disaster. One conversation flipped your entire mindset. One moment of anger made you say or do something you didn't mean. That's what happens when you don't discipline your emotions. They drag you into decisions that don't reflect your highest self. You weren't born to be ruled by emotion. You were built to rise above it. And that doesn't mean you become numb or fake. It means you learn how to respond rather than react. It means you feel deeply, but you move wisely. It means you acknowledge what's going on inside, but you don't let it hijack your actions. Most people never learn how to do this. They explode when they're frustrated. They isolate when they're hurt. They chase highs and run from lows. They live like emotional waves, up one day, down the next, because they've never been taught how to anchor themselves. But you're here because you want more. You want to grow. You want stability. You want to win without destroying yourself in the process. And that means developing the mental strength to master your inner world. When something triggers you, pause. Don't speak. Don't act. Don't jump. Just breathe. That one breath is the gap between destruction and control, because that breath reminds you that you're not just your emotion, you're the observer of it. And the moment you can observe it, you can manage it. You can analyze where it's coming from and decide how to handle it with wisdom instead of chaos. There's nothing weak about being calm. In fact, it's one of the strongest things you can be, because anyone can lose their cool. Anyone can lash out. That's easy. What's hard is staying composed when everything inside you wants to erupt. What's powerful is being able to feel your rage, your sadness, your insecurity, and still choose your response. That's emotional discipline. That's leadership. That's self-respect in action. You must realize that your emotions don't always tell the truth. They reflect your current perception, but perception isn't always reality. You might feel like you're not enough. You might feel like it's hopeless. You might feel like they don't care. But feelings aren't facts. And if you live like they are, you will build your life on illusions and assumptions instead of truth. So, train yourself. Start small. Catch the emotional spirals early. Notice the thoughts that lead to the storm. Challenge the story you're telling yourself. Ask, is this useful? Is this kind? Is this moving me forward? And if it's not, redirect it. Don't ignore it. Redirect it. That's what warriors do. They don't deny their emotions. They channel them. You might feel like giving up, but instead you train harder. You might feel like yelling, but instead you take a walk and cool off. You might feel like isolating, but instead you reach out and talk it through. That's discipline. That's mastery. That's how you stop being a prisoner of your own mind. And the best part, the more you do this, the stronger you get. Emotional control is like a muscle. The more you practice it, the easier it becomes to stay centered in the middle of chaos. You stop reacting to every trigger. You stop absorbing everyone's energy. You stop letting the past control your present. Instead, you create a stable foundation that no external pressure can shake. Look back at your life and be honest. How many times did a lack of emotional discipline cost you something important? Maybe you said something you regret. Maybe you gave up too soon. Maybe you allowed fear to paralyze you. That's the real price of emotional weakness. It's not just feeling bad, it's missing out on what could have been yours if you had just held steady a little longer. But that ends now. From this point forward, you commit to emotional strength. You commit to awareness. You commit to responding from clarity instead of chaos. Because your future is too important to be handed over to a fleeting emotion. Let the world throw its noise at you. Let people disappoint you. Let circumstances challenge you. That's life. But you stay grounded. You stay clear. You stay in control of what you bring to every moment. And when you live like that, you become unstoppable. Not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger. This is your turning point. No more being ruled by impulse. No more emotional roller coasters that derail your progress. From now on, you speak with intention. You act with discipline. You lead your mind before it leads you into destruction. And every time you do that, you build a version of yourself that is stable, powerful, and free. If you're ready to become the master of your emotional state, not its victim, then start today. Pay attention, respond with purpose, and remember, the more disciplined you are with your emotions, the more powerful your life becomes. Chapter 6. Choose powerful daily habits that shape your mindset. Your life is not controlled by what you do once in a while. It is shaped by what you do every single day, without fail. If you're waking up frustrated, feeling stuck, or wondering why nothing is changing, it's time to stop blaming your circumstances and start looking at your habits. Because your mindset, the very core of how you think, respond, and feel, is being programmed every morning by what you repeat, what you focus on, and what you allow. And most people never realize this. They wake up in a rush, grab their phone, compare their lives to others, scroll through negativity, skip any moment of intention, and then wonder why anxiety, doubt, and overwhelm follow them everywhere they go. You can't expect a strong mind from weak habits. If you feed your brain confusion, distraction, and inconsistency, don't be surprised when you struggle with clarity, motivation, and confidence. But the truth is, you have the power to rewrite all of it. The key is simple, but not easy. Build habits that align with the version of you that you're trying to become. Build routines that empower your thinking. Build rituals that protect your peace. Build patterns that support your growth, even when you're tired, even when you're low, even when you're doubting everything. It starts the moment you wake up, because how you start your day is how you set the tone for everything that follows. If you begin in chaos, you carry that energy. But if you begin with control, if you take those first few moments to center yourself, to decide who you are and what you're about, you create mental strength before the world even has a chance to challenge it. Imagine waking up and choosing silence over noise. Imagine sitting still with your thoughts instead of drowning them in distraction. Imagine writing down what you're grateful for, what you're building, and why you're doing it, before anyone else even knows you're awake. That's not just routine, that's a declaration. That's you reclaiming your mind. That's you programming your focus, your emotions, your energy, before the world tries to hijack them. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. If you wait until you feel like doing it, you'll never build anything lasting. Feelings are fleeting. Discipline is what creates the internal transformation you're looking for. So even on the days when your mind is foggy, when your body is tired, when your drive is low, you stick to your habits. Not because they're easy, but because they're necessary. A strong mindset isn't something you're born with, it's something you build, one small decision at a time. Every day that you choose your vision over your comfort, you strengthen your mind. Every time you read instead of scrolling, you shape your beliefs. Every morning that you move your body, speak powerful words, focus your mind and feed it truth, you reinforce the kind of mental clarity that cannot be shaken by circumstance. But here's what most people get wrong. They think change comes from massive one-time efforts. It doesn't. Change comes from the small, often boring, repeated actions that no one sees, but that shape everything behind the scenes. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. You just have to commit to small, powerful habits and do them daily until they become your new standard. Start with one habit that strengthens your focus, one habit that reconnects you to your purpose, one habit that keeps your emotions grounded, then stack another and another. Soon you've created a system of routines that carry you through even the hardest days, not because you're motivated, but because your habits have become your identity. That's when everything changes. That's when you stop hoping and start becoming. And don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for clarity. Don't wait for the right time. The right time is the moment you realize your current mindset is costing you too much. It's costing you peace. It's costing you growth. It's costing you belief in yourself. And the way out isn't in a secret trick. It's in the habits you repeat when no one is watching. You must become obsessed with what you practice daily, because whatever you do consistently is what you get good at. If you constantly dwell on problems, you become an expert in anxiety. But if you constantly train your mind to focus, to reflect, to adjust and move forward, you become an expert in resilience. Your habits are your training ground. Every day your future self is being built or broken by what you do. So decide today, who do you want to be? Not in theory, not in dreams, in action. In real life, what habits does that version of you follow without fail? How does that person start their day, protect their mind, fuel their body, speak their truth? And if that's who you want to become, you have to start acting like them now, not later. Not next year, not after everything settles down. Right now. Don't underestimate the power of a simple morning routine. Don't dismiss the impact of 10 focused minutes. Don't ignore the value of writing your goals, speaking your affirmations, moving your body, and feeding your brain first thing every day. These aren't minor tasks, they're foundational. They're how you stop surviving and start creating the life you want. These daily habits are how you reclaim your power from chaos, from excuses, from fear. You are not a victim of your mind. You are the author of it. You write the script every morning with what you allow and what you reject. And if you want a different outcome, start with a different habit. This is your moment to reset, to choose discipline over delay, to take back your mornings, to take back your thoughts, to build a daily system that serves your highest self. And the best part is you don't need permission. You don't need approval. You just need to begin. So start today. Choose one habit that aligns with your future. Commit to it. Own it. Let it become part of who you are. And when you're ready, stack the next one, and the next. Because your habits aren't just tasks, they are proof of your direction. And if you build them with purpose, they will carry you toward the life you've always known you were meant to live. Chapter 7. Repeat strong affirmations that reinforce your direction. Your life is moving in the direction of the words you speak to yourself when no one else is listening. Most people don't realize this until it's too late. They wonder why they feel so lost, so unsure, so full of doubt. They think the world is holding them back. But in reality, it's their own voice. The one inside their head repeating the same tired beliefs, the same outdated fears, the same self-sabotaging stories. And here's the hard truth. If you don't speak strength into yourself daily, you will unconsciously repeat weakness. If you're not intentionally affirming your power, your clarity, and your future, you'll default into uncertainty, confusion, and hesitation. Strong affirmations are not wishful thinking. They are not empty words. They are instructions. They are declarations. They are commands that rewire your mind, reprogram your emotions, and redirect your behavior. When repeated with intensity and belief, they act as anchors that keep you grounded when life tries to knock you off course. They remind you of who you're becoming, not who you used to be. Most people speak their fears louder than their vision. They don't even notice how often they say, "I'm tired, I'm stuck, nothing's working, I don't know if I'm good enough." These phrases aren't just harmless thoughts, they're blueprints. Your brain is always listening, always adapting, always wiring itself based on the repetition it hears. And if you constantly feed it limitation, it will create a life that reflects that. But if you start flooding your mind with powerful, deliberate affirmations, statements that point your focus toward growth, resilience, confidence, and purpose, you'll notice something shift. Not overnight, not in one try, but day by day your inner voice becomes your ally. You'll stop being your own worst critic and start becoming your strongest source of power. This is why daily affirmations must be intentional. They must be rooted in truth and spoken with intensity. You don't whisper your worth, you declare it. You don't mumble your direction, you speak it with authority. You don't hope to become strong, you affirm that you already are and act accordingly. Imagine waking up each morning, and instead of letting your first thought be worry or doubt, you rise with clarity. You say, "Today I lead myself. I move with purpose. I trust my pace. I am focused. I am building something great." Now imagine doing that for 30 days straight. Imagine how different you would feel, not because the outside world changed, but because your inner world became bulletproof. Every high achiever you admire has mastered this, not in public, but in private. They train their thoughts the same way an athlete trains their body. They affirm their direction so consistently that it becomes second nature. When pressure shows up, their mind doesn't crumble, it responds, because they've already rehearsed strength. They've already practiced resilience. They've already repeated affirmations that aligned them with their highest identity. This is not about pretending you have no problems. It's about refusing to let your problems decide who you become. It's about taking control of your self-talk and using it as fuel. Every time you say, "I can handle this," your brain rewires itself to search for solutions. Every time you say, "I keep going even when it's hard," you train your nervous system to face adversity without shutting down. Every time you say, "I am worthy of winning," you break old patterns that told you otherwise. Words carry energy, especially when they're spoken from within. You don't need the approval of others. You don't need someone to come save you. You just need to build a powerful inner voice that doesn't flinch in the face of setbacks. One that doesn't give in to old fears. One that reminds you of the future you are creating and refuses to let you drift from it. Affirmations are not magic, but they are a form of mental training that separates those who grow from those who crumble. If you say something enough times, your brain will start to accept it as fact, and once it accepts it, your actions begin to follow. That's when real transformation begins. That's when confidence becomes your baseline, not just a temporary feeling. That's when clarity starts replacing confusion, and that's when momentum becomes part of your identity. So if you're tired of being stuck in your head, tired of second-guessing your every move, tired of waiting for the world to validate you, start by validating yourself. Write down the identity you want to live from. Speak it every single day, not when you feel like it, but especially when you don't. When your mind is foggy, when doubt is loud, when pressure is high, that's when your affirmations matter most. That's when you need to remember, this is who I am becoming. Say it. I am focused. I am unstoppable. I follow through. I keep my promises. I create peace. I attract clarity. I act with intention. I am building something extraordinary, and I will not stop. Keep saying it until your subconscious catches up. Keep saying it until your decisions start aligning. Keep saying it until your emotions start trusting you again. That's the real power behind daily affirmations. They don't just change how you feel, they change how you live. If you want to stop drifting, stop waiting, stop doubting, then speak power into your life every day without exception. Make it a non-negotiable habit. Make it part of your morning routine, your nighttime ritual, your midday reset. Make it so consistent that even when the world shakes, your mindset stands firm. And here's what's beautiful. You don't have to get it perfect. You just have to start. You don't have to feel strong to speak strength. You speak it so that you become strong. You don't have to have all the answers. You just need the right focus. You don't need to fix everything overnight. You just need to stop feeding yourself words that hold you back. It's time to stop underestimating the power of your voice. Your words are creating your world whether you realize it or not. So choose wisely. Speak boldly. Repeat power. Repeat purpose. Repeat direction. Let your affirmations become your foundation. Let them become your protection against self-doubt. Let them become your signal to your mind. We are moving forward, and we are not turning back. Chapter 8. Remove distractions that weaken your mental strength. You are losing more of your future every time you choose distraction over discipline, and you don't even realize it. The truth is, distractions aren't just stealing your time, they're stealing your potential. They're weakening your mental strength. One click, one scroll, one useless conversation at a time, and while you think you're just taking a short break, your future is drifting further out of reach. The longer you stay tangled in meaningless noise, the more distant your goals become. It doesn't happen all at once. It happens quietly, subtly, until one day you look back and realize you've been busy surviving your distractions instead of building your vision. That's the trap. That's how you lose the fire inside. Not because you don't want success, but because you're too mentally drained from all the noise that doesn't matter. And what's worse, most of it feels normal. The endless feed, the quick dopamine hits, the constant need to check, compare, respond, but all of it is weakening you. Every moment spent reacting to shallow distractions is a moment not invested in your mental toughness. Mental strength is not something you're born with. It's something you build by protecting your attention. The strongest people you know didn't get that way by chance. They got there by removing anything that divided their focus. They stopped giving energy to things that didn't move their life forward. They stopped letting the trivial compete with the essential, and that's the edge you need to reclaim if you want to win. If you've ever said, I can't focus or I don't feel motivated. Understand this. It's not always your mindset. It's what's constantly pulling your attention away. It's the scattered inputs, the background noise, the non-stop digital interference. You're not broken. You're just distracted beyond your threshold. You can't think clearly when your brain is overloaded with useless data. You can't push through resistance when your willpower has been eaten alive by non-stop stimulation. Every distraction comes with a cost you don't see, a cost to your clarity, a cost to your emotional energy, a cost to your self-respect. Because every time you choose the easy option, the entertaining escape, the pointless notification, you're signaling to your mind that it's okay to avoid growth, that it's acceptable to drift, that you don't need to sharpen your focus today. But here's the thing, your goals require a different level of you, a more intentional you, a version that isn't at war with their own attention, a version that knows how to say no, not just to others, but to the parts of themselves that seek comfort over greatness. You have to reclaim your mind. You have to become ruthless about what you let in, because your mind is a battlefield, and every distraction is an enemy disguised as entertainment. Every app, every meaningless conversation, every irrelevant thought, it's trying to take your edge. And if you keep letting them, you will lose your drive before you even begin to build it. Discipline is not just about doing hard things. It's about removing the things that make you mentally weak. It's about unsubscribing from the noise. It's about creating space where you can think, build, and become relentless. Because when your mind is calm, when your focus is sharp, when your time is protected, you become dangerous. You stop reacting and start executing. You stop drifting and start directing. You stop craving validation and start building self-respect through your actions. If you want to become unstoppable, start by eliminating what distracts you. That means cutting off the tabs that steal your mental energy. That means silencing the voices that make you doubt yourself. That means deleting what doesn't fuel your future. You don't rise by addition, you rise by subtraction. Get rid of what weakens you. Cut off what makes you forget your mission. Refuse to let the digital world rob you of your personal power. And no, it's not going to feel easy, because distractions are addictive. They're designed to be. They're engineered to hook your attention, to manipulate your brain chemistry, to make you feel like you're doing something when you're actually doing nothing. But that's exactly why you need to break the pattern. Because the more you resist, the stronger your mind becomes. The more you choose depth over noise, the more control you reclaim. And here's the shift you need to make. Stop asking what you need to add to be better. Start asking what you need to remove to be clearer. Remove the habits that leave you mentally foggy. Remove the people that drain your fire. Remove the environments that don't challenge you to grow. Because once you remove the distractions, your natural drive starts to reappear. Your ambition starts to rise. Your confidence starts to return. Not because you forced it, but because you finally made room for it. Everything changes when your mind is no longer cluttered. You begin to hear your inner voice again. You remember your reasons. You reconnect with your standards. You build habits that last because your energy is no longer scattered across things that don't matter. You become the kind of person who doesn't need motivation every day, because your environment is motivation. Your space supports your focus. Your daily rhythm feeds your fire. And that's when discipline becomes natural. That's when mental strength becomes who you are. So if you're tired of being stuck in cycles of distraction, make the decision now. Clean up your space. Audit your inputs. Set clear boundaries with the digital world. Start protecting your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. Your mental strength is the foundation of everything. Without it you fall for anything. With it you rise through anything. This is not just about being more productive. This is about being more you, the focused you, the powerful you, the version of you that's been buried under years of noise and nonsense. It's time to bring that version back. Shut off what dulls your edge. Walk away from what numbs your drive. Build a life so clear, so aligned, so intentional that distractions no longer even appeal to you. Because when you remove what weakens your mind, you make space for everything that strengthens it. And once your mind is sharp, nothing can stop you. Chapter 9. Take daily action, no matter how small. Every giant success began with a single step. A small action taken when no one was watching, often when you didn't feel ready or motivated. If you think you need to feel perfect, or wait for the right moment, or have everything figured out before you move, you're trapping yourself in paralysis. The truth is that the momentum that changes your life is built from tiny, consistent actions, not grand gestures or sudden breakthroughs, but the daily commitment to do something, anything that nudges you closer to your dreams. You may feel overwhelmed by how far you have to go. The gap between where you are and where you want to be can look like a mountain impossible to climb. But mountains are conquered one step at a time, and those steps are often barely noticeable at first. What seems insignificant now is actually the foundation of your future success. Each small effort you put in chips away at the inertia that holds you back. Every time you push through resistance, even if it's just 5 minutes of focused work, a single phone call, or a short walk toward your goal, you are rewiring your brain to believe progress is possible. Our minds want quick wins and instant gratification, but real change doesn't happen overnight. It happens in the quiet moments when you choose to show up, even though your motivation is low and your doubts are loud. Imagine a sculptor shaping a masterpiece. They don't finish with one strike. Instead, they chip away patiently, day after day, until the form emerges. You are that sculptor, and your daily actions are the chisels that reveal the best version of yourself. There's a powerful psychological shift that occurs when you commit to daily action. It transforms you from a passive dreamer into an active creator. When you take even the smallest step forward, you prove to yourself that you are capable of progress. This proof feeds your confidence, which fuels more action, creating an unstoppable cycle. That cycle crushes fear and doubt, because you are no longer waiting for permission from your feelings or circumstances. You are leading with deliberate motion. Many people underestimate the value of small actions because they only see the immediate results. But it's the compound effect over time that builds unstoppable momentum. Think about saving money. A few dollars put aside daily grows into a significant sum. The same goes for effort, learning, and discipline. A habit built one day at a time becomes unbreakable. The person who takes imperfect action every single day will always outpace the person who waits for perfection and never starts. If you're struggling with consistency, start by redefining what counts as progress. You don't need to complete an entire project today. You don't need to overhaul your life in one go. Start with the smallest meaningful step and celebrate that victory. That small win is proof you can take the next one tomorrow. The key is not speed, but persistence. Your dedication to showing up, no matter how small the task, sends a message to your subconscious mind that your goals matter. Over time, those messages build your identity as someone who gets things done. Imagine your future self looking back at you. What will they thank you for? For waiting until you felt ready, or for starting today with whatever you have? The answer is clear, because action creates the future. Every moment you hesitate is a moment your future self misses out on growth and opportunity. The only way to change your story is by rewriting your daily script with action, not excuses. There will be days when progress feels slow or invisible. That is natural and expected. Growth often happens beneath the surface, invisible to the naked eye. But trust that each step matters because it's building strength and resilience inside you. Taking daily action, even in discomfort or uncertainty, trains your mind to handle setbacks and persist beyond pain. It teaches you that failure is not an end, but a signal to adjust and keep moving forward. One powerful way to keep momentum is to build rituals that trigger your action, create habits that anchor your efforts into your daily routine, making it easier to follow through when motivation fades. When something becomes automatic, it no longer requires a battle of willpower. Your brain begins to expect and prepare for that action, reducing resistance and increasing success. Design your environment so it supports these habits, remove barriers, add reminders, and surround yourself with cues that reinforce your daily steps. Accountability is another catalyst that accelerates action. Share your goals with someone you trust or join a community where progress is celebrated. Knowing someone else is aware of your commitment strengthens your drive and reduces the temptation to quit. You become part of a system where your actions have weight beyond yourself, that external pressure can spark breakthroughs when internal motivation wavers. The secret is to start before you feel ready, to take imperfect action before clarity arrives, and to move forward even if you're uncertain. Momentum builds in the space of doing. Fear, doubt, and procrastination shrink when confronted with consistent effort. Your brain starts to crave progress because it's wired to seek reward for effort. The more you act, the more energized and empowered you feel. Action feeds motivation, not the other way around. So ask yourself, what is one small thing you can do today that moves you closer to your goal? It could be drafting a plan, making a phone call, reading a chapter, or even just setting a timer for focused work. Whatever it is, commit to that action right now. Don't wait for the perfect conditions or a surge of inspiration. Take the step because your dreams deserve your effort today, not someday. Remember, every champion, every leader, every innovator got to where they are by doing the work when no one was watching. They didn't wait for motivation, they created it through action. They didn't wait for clarity, they found it by moving forward. Your journey is no different. The power to transform your life is not in giant leaps but in the steady footsteps you take every single day. Start now. Take that small action and watch how the tide begins to turn. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be consistent. Let your daily actions tell the story of a person who refuses to be stopped, who builds their future one step at a time, and who knows deep down that greatness lies in their hands. Keep moving, keep growing, keep winning. Your future self is waiting to thank you. Chapter 10. Reflect each night on how your mind performed. The most powerful transformation begins when you dare to look inward with brutal honesty and unwavering kindness every single night. If you want to master your mind and take control of your life, the secret isn't in frantic chasing or forcing change. It's in the quiet, deliberate reflection on how your mind performed today. This practice, often overlooked, holds the key to unlocking clarity, growth, and unstoppable momentum. Imagine ending each day not with regret or distraction, but with purpose, sitting down for a moment to honestly assess your mental state, your thoughts, your decisions, and your emotional responses. This is not about judgment or self-criticism. It's about becoming a curious observer of your inner world. When you do this consistently, you become your own coach, your own guide, steering yourself away from harmful patterns and toward what truly serves your growth. Every evening offers a unique chance to hit pause and analyze what worked and what didn't. Did your mind stay focused on your priorities, or did it wander into worry and distraction? Were you patient and resilient when faced with challenges, or did frustration take over? Did your thoughts build confidence, or did they tear you down with doubt? This honest inventory is like cleaning your mental slate, preparing it for a fresh start the next day. The power of this nightly reflection is profound because the mind is like a muscle. It grows stronger only when you train it with awareness. By reviewing your mental performance daily, You identify where you gave your power away and where you held it strong. This clarity makes invisible forces visible. You begin to see the triggers that pull you off course, the excuses that sneak in unnoticed, and the beliefs that limit your potential. Without this reflection, you remain unconscious, reacting to life instead of consciously shaping it. Stories of those who have achieved remarkable success often share this hidden habit. They track their mental state every day. They know that growth doesn't come from raw effort alone, but from intelligent effort informed by reflection. When you ask yourself, "How did my mind serve me today?" you're creating a feedback loop. This loop fine-tunes your thinking, sharpens your emotional control, and deepens your self-awareness, turning obstacles into opportunities. Nightly reflection also nurtures resilience. Life will challenge your focus, your discipline, and your belief in yourself. But when you take time to acknowledge these struggles without shame or denial, you build mental toughness. You start to see setbacks as lessons, not failures. This mindset shift is crucial for long-term progress because it keeps you moving forward even when motivation dips and doubts creep in. Reflection doesn't need to be complicated or time-consuming. It can be as simple as asking yourself 3 honest questions. What did I do well today? Where did I struggle? What can I improve tomorrow? These questions act as mental checkpoints, guiding your awareness gently but firmly. The more specific your answers, the clearer your path forward becomes. Over time, these small moments of introspection accumulate, rewiring your brain toward growth and mastery. There's an emotional dimension to this practice that's just as important. When you reflect with kindness, you cultivate self-compassion. You learn to forgive yourself for mistakes and celebrate your wins, no matter how small. This balance of accountability and grace creates a safe space inside where your mind can heal and thrive. Without compassion, reflection becomes self-judgment, which leads to avoidance and stagnation. With it, reflection fuels courage and persistence. The nights when you feel overwhelmed, restless or uncertain, reflection is your anchor. It pulls you back from the chaos of swirling thoughts and emotions. It grounds you in reality and reminds you that you are more than your challenges. By regularly tuning into your mental state, you develop the ability to reset your mindset, calm anxiety, and refocus your energy. This skill is invaluable, especially in today's world filled with constant noise and distraction. Imagine building this habit like you would build a fortress around your mind. Each night, you lay down another brick of insight, awareness, and control. This fortress protects you from the storms of negative thinking, self-doubt, and fear. It gives you a place of calm from which to launch your next day's battles. The strength of this fortress depends on the consistency and sincerity of your reflection. As you grow in this practice, you'll start to notice subtle shifts in how you think and feel throughout the day. You'll catch negative patterns earlier, redirect your focus more easily, and recover from setbacks faster. Your mind becomes a trusted ally, not a wild enemy. This transformation is liberating, because it means you're no longer a victim of your mental state, you are the master of it. If you want to take this even deeper, consider journaling your reflections. Writing forces clarity and makes your insights tangible. When you read back on past entries, you witness your progress unfold. You see how far you've come and what still needs attention. Journaling turns abstract thoughts into actionable knowledge. It's like having a personal roadmap that evolves with you. Nightly reflection also reconnects you with your purpose. In the rush of daily life, it's easy to lose sight of why you started your journey. When you pause to evaluate your mental performance, you remind yourself of your goals, your values, and your vision. This connection fuels motivation and keeps your efforts aligned with what truly matters. Without this alignment, even hard work can feel empty and directionless. The emotional honesty you develop through reflection helps break through internal barriers. It exposes fears and limiting beliefs that hide in the shadows. Facing these truths head-on might feel uncomfortable at first, but it's the only way to dismantle them. Once illuminated, these mental blocks lose their power and can be replaced with empowering thoughts and beliefs. This is the essence of mental mastery. Tonight, before you close your eyes, ask yourself, how did my mind perform today? What thoughts lifted me up, and which dragged me down? What did I learn about myself in the past 24 hours? The answers you find are the seeds of your transformation. They hold the wisdom to improve tomorrow and every day after. This simple act of reflection will change how you live your life, one night at a time. Don't wait for tomorrow to start this habit. Begin now, tonight. Make a promise to yourself to meet with your mind honestly and kindly each evening. This practice will become your secret weapon, your source of strength and clarity. Over time it will shape your identity, your mindset, and ultimately your destiny. Your mind is the battlefield where your future is won or lost. Equip yourself with the power of reflection, and watch how your mental game elevates to levels you once thought impossible. The night holds the answers. Are you ready to listen? Take this step. Commit to reflect every night. Your mind deserves your attention, and your future depends on it. Chapter 11. Challenge limiting beliefs that hold you back. What if the biggest enemy standing between you and your dreams isn't outside forces, but the quiet voice inside your head telling you you can't? That voice, those thoughts that whisper doubt and limitation, are not truths carved in stone. They are beliefs you inherited, absorbed, and accepted without question. It's time to confront those invisible barriers and shatter them with fierce determination. From the moment you wake up, your mind battles countless ideas about what's possible for you. Some beliefs lift you, fueling ambition and courage. Others clip your wings before you even try. These limiting beliefs are like shackles disguised as comfort zones, keeping you small in a world that demands greatness. But here's the truth. Every limitation you feel has a crack, and that crack is where your breakthrough begins. You've probably experienced moments when self-doubt paralyzed you, times when you felt you weren't good enough, smart enough, or deserving of success. These thoughts aren't just fleeting. They create an invisible prison, restricting your potential. The real tragedy is that many live their entire lives confined by these false beliefs without realizing they have the key to freedom. Imagine standing in front of a mirror, but the reflection you see isn't your true self. It's distorted by years of limiting beliefs. What if you could wipe that fog away? What if the reflection showed someone capable of far more than you ever imagined? Challenging these beliefs is not about denying reality. It's about seeing your reality clearly and choosing to believe in possibilities instead of limitations. Breaking free starts with awareness. Most limiting beliefs hide in the shadows of your subconscious, repeating like a broken record. They sound like, "I'm not ready," "I always fail," or "this is just how I am." Recognizing these thoughts is the first step toward dismantling them. You must become a detective of your mind, questioning every negative narrative and examining its origin. Once you identify a limiting belief, the next step is to challenge it with evidence. Ask yourself, is this belief based on facts or fears? How many times has it truly been proven? Often these beliefs are assumptions dressed up as facts, preventing you from taking risks and stepping into your power. When you question their validity, you expose the lies you've accepted as truth. Remember a time when you surprised yourself by doing something you thought was impossible. That moment is proof that your limitations are not fixed, they're flexible. Every achievement starts with the courage to defy your mental boundaries. When you confront limiting beliefs, you open the door to new opportunities and fresh perspectives that fuel growth. This process requires relentless courage, because it means stepping into discomfort. Challenging what you believe about yourself shakes the foundation of your identity. It can feel like losing a part of yourself, but in truth, it's shedding the skin of old fears to reveal your true strength underneath. Growth is messy, but it's also liberating. The mind craves patterns and safety, so it resists change fiercely. You'll notice thoughts fighting back with excuses and justifications to keep you safe in your current mindset. This resistance is normal. It means you're pushing boundaries. But don't let this inner rebellion stop you. Push harder. Affirm that you are capable of more than your past programming. Surround yourself with proof that contradicts your limiting beliefs. Seek stories, mentors, and experiences that demonstrate possibility. When your mind encounters evidence of success outside your comfort zone, it begins to rewrite its internal narrative. The stories you feed your mind shape your reality. Choose to feed stories of strength, resilience, and achievement. Repetition is your ally here. Just as limiting beliefs have been reinforced over years, you must consistently reinforce new empowering beliefs. Use affirmations, visualizations, and declarations that reflect your highest potential. Each repetition chips away at doubt and cements confidence. This is the mental workout that builds your belief muscles. At times it's necessary to confront deep-seated fears tied to these beliefs. Fear of failure, rejection, or inadequacy often lurks beneath limiting thoughts. Naming these fears and exploring their roots can disarm their power. When you shine light on what scares you, it loses its grip and becomes a stepping stone instead of a stumbling block. Think of every limiting belief as a door. Behind that door lies the possibility of a new reality. You hold the key to open it, but it requires conscious effort. You can't wait for the door to open on its own, or for someone else to hand you the key. Your freedom depends on your willingness to challenge what you've always accepted. The journey of challenging limiting beliefs is deeply personal. It requires self-honesty and commitment to growth. But with every belief you dismantle, you reclaim part of your power. You become the author of your story, no longer bound by scripts written by fear or doubt. Your potential is vast, but it will remain hidden as long as you allow limiting beliefs to dictate your choices. What will you do when those voices tell you not yet or impossible? Will you accept their verdict, or will you stand firm and prove them wrong? Start today by identifying one belief that has held you back the longest. Write it down, examine it. Ask yourself how it has shaped your actions and feelings. Then deliberately choose to challenge it. Find evidence to dispute it, repeat an empowering alternative, and act in defiance of its claim. Every step you take against limiting beliefs is a victory worth celebrating. These victories accumulate, transforming your mindset and your life. You'll find yourself reaching higher, pushing further, and embracing challenges with newfound confidence. Never underestimate the power of your mind to change. Your thoughts do not define you unless you allow them to. You have the strength to question, to rewrite, and to rise beyond any mental boundary. The moment you decide to challenge your limiting beliefs is the moment you take the first step toward your true freedom. No one can do this work for you, but the rewards are immeasurable. A life unshackled by doubt, full of possibility and purpose, awaits you. Don't let another day go by living beneath your potential. Start tearing down the walls of limitation now. Your future self is waiting on the other side, ready to thrive. Rise up, challenge your limits, become unstoppable. Chapter 12. Surround yourself with mentally focused people only. If you want to rise beyond your limits, your environment isn't just important, it is everything. The people you spend your time with shape the very thoughts you think, the energy you carry, and the goals you pursue. Surrounding yourself with those who lack focus or drive is like walking through quicksand. The harder you struggle, the deeper you sink. But when you choose to surround yourself only with mentally focused people, you tap into a force that propels you forward with unstoppable momentum. Think about the last time you felt truly inspired. Was it a moment alone, Or was it shared with someone whose clarity and determination electrified the room? Mentally focused individuals possess a rare kind of magnetic energy. They live with purpose, discipline, and a refusal to be distracted by the noise of the world. When you stand among them, their mindset becomes contagious. It rewires your brain to think bigger, act smarter, and persevere harder. It's easy to underestimate how much influence others have on your mental state. Even casual conversations can plant seeds of doubt or motivation. When you consistently engage with people who have scattered attention and wavering priorities, you absorb their uncertainty. It's like mental pollution. Over time, your own focus fragments, your goals blur, and your progress stalls. On the other hand, when your inner circle is composed of individuals who relentlessly guard their mental focus, everything changes. Their habits, mindset, and relentless commitment to growth create a fertile ground for your own development. Their energy pushes you to wake up early, resist temptation, and maintain discipline when it feels impossible. This is not accidental. It's the power of aligned minds moving in harmony. Surrounding yourself with focused people doesn't mean you avoid those who are struggling or different. It means you actively choose relationships that elevate your mindset and inspire excellence. This is a deliberate act of self-respect and self-protection. Your time and energy are precious. If you spend them on distractions, doubts, and lethargy, you sabotage your own potential. Imagine walking into a room where everyone is driven, deliberate, and mentally sharp. The conversations buzz with ideas, solutions, and relentless positivity. You don't just absorb their focus, you become a part of it. This environment becomes your training ground, where your mind sharpens like a blade, cutting through procrastination and indecision. This kind of company demands that you hold yourself accountable. When your peers respect discipline, it's harder to hide behind excuses. Their standards pull you upward, urging you to rise when you feel like falling. It's a form of silent encouragement that shouts louder than any cheerleader. If you're surrounded by distracted minds, you might not realize how much their chaos seeps into your thinking. You might catch yourself procrastinating, doubting, or losing clarity without knowing why. This is why you must be selective. Mental focus is contagious, and so is mental fog. Choose your tribe wisely. Your mind is like a garden. The company you keep is the soil. If you plant seeds of focus, persistence, and vision in rich, fertile ground, they will grow into towering trees. But if you plant in rocky, toxic soil, your growth will be stunted, weak, and vulnerable to storms. There's no shortage of people who want to dream without doing, talk without acting, or complain without changing. They create noise, distractions, and emotional chaos that drain your mental energy. If you're serious about building mental strength, you need to walk away from that noise, even if it means leaving people who have been in your life for years. This choice isn't easy. It demands courage to step away from familiar patterns and relationships that no longer serve your growth. But the alternative is a slow fade into mediocrity, confusion, and regret. You deserve better than a life clouded by distraction and doubt. Mentally focused people see obstacles as temporary, challenges as opportunities, and setbacks as lessons. They celebrate discipline over shortcuts, clarity over confusion, and persistence over instant gratification. Their mindset creates a powerful force field against negativity, and when you join their circle, you inherit that resilience. Seek out those who inspire you to be your best self, not because they flaunt success, but because they embody dedication and mental clarity every single day. These people don't wait for motivation to strike. They create it by showing up, working hard, and refusing to be derailed by excuses. It's important to recognize that mental focus isn't about perfection. It's about commitment. It's about choosing what matters and protecting your mind like the most valuable asset it is. When you surround yourself with people who treat their minds with this level of respect, you begin to mirror their habits and values naturally. This environment sharpens your ability to concentrate on what truly matters. You'll notice your mind cutting through distractions quicker, your decisions becoming clearer, and your goals aligning with purpose. Momentum builds like a snowball, growing larger and stronger with every interaction. And here's the most powerful secret: when you create a circle of focused people, you become part of something bigger than yourself. You tap into collective energy, shared wisdom, and mutual accountability. This network becomes a fortress of mental strength, helping you withstand life's pressures and emerge stronger. Don't underestimate the power of this shift. Mental focus is not just a skill, it's a lifestyle. It's the difference between drifting through life and steering with precision. By surrounding yourself with mentally focused individuals, you're not just protecting your own clarity, you're accelerating your journey toward the life you deserve. Now is the time to evaluate your relationships. Which ones fuel your fire? Which ones drain your spirit? It's a tough but necessary reckoning. Commit to cultivating a network that supports your mental sharpness, resilience, and ambition. Your mind is your most valuable weapon. Guard it fiercely. Choose to be among those who sharpen their minds daily. The company you keep will define the height of your success and the depth of your fulfillment. This is your invitation to rise above distraction, doubt, and delay. Surround yourself with the mentally focused, and watch how your life transforms beyond what you thought possible. Step into this circle of strength. Protect your focus. Demand excellence from yourself and those around you. Your future depends on it. Chapter 13. Speak your desires with calm and steady confidence. Your voice has the power to shape your reality, but only when it speaks with calm, steady confidence. Because desire shouted out of desperation falls on deaf ears, while a quiet declaration of intent moves mountains. The way you express what you want determines not just how others see you, but how deeply you believe in your own worthiness to receive it. When you master the art of speaking your desires with unwavering calm, you open the door to a world where your goals begin to respond to your inner conviction. Think about the last time you truly wanted something, whether it was respect, opportunity, or love. How did you communicate it? Was it with a shaky voice filled with doubt and urgency, or did you stand firm, steady, and clear? There's a profound difference between desperation and quiet strength. The world doesn't respond to noise, it responds to certainty. Speaking calmly is not about being soft or passive. It is the ultimate power move, because it reflects a mind that is anchored and a heart that knows its value. People who rush to express their desires often do so out of fear of rejection, fear of being ignored, or fear of losing what they want. This fear makes their voice waver, their words scatter, and their message lose impact. When you communicate with calm confidence, you silence that inner turmoil. Your words become deliberate and measured, not because you are unsure, but because you are grounded. This steadiness commands respect even before you finish your sentence. There's a hidden psychology behind calm speech that few understand. When you slow down your words and lower the intensity, your audience instinctively listens more carefully. You convey control, and control is magnetic. When your desires come wrapped in clarity and calmness, they feel less like demands and more like invitations. This subtle shift changes how people perceive your intentions, from needy to purposeful. The real magic begins within you. When you learn to express what you want calmly, you start to believe deeply that what you seek is possible and deserved. This belief transforms your mindset. Instead of chasing after things frantically, you attract them because your energy vibrates on a higher frequency. Calm confidence signals to the universe that you are ready, stable, and aligned. Let me tell you a story about a man who transformed his life, not by changing his goals but by changing how he spoke about them. For years he pleaded and bargained, often desperate to be heard. Doors stayed closed. People walked away. Then one day he decided to change his approach. He practiced speaking with quiet assurance, choosing words carefully, and eliminating unnecessary urgency. His voice gained a steady rhythm, and with it, an unshakable belief. The change was almost immediate, not just in how others responded, but in how he felt about himself. Opportunities flowed in, not because he shouted louder, but because he spoke wiser. Speaking with calm confidence also means learning to pause, to let your words settle, and your presence fill the space. Too many people rush to fill silence, fearing it might expose their uncertainty, yet the pause is your ally. It gives weight to your words and shows that you are not afraid to stand in your truth. It reveals a calm mind that is unshaken by the need for immediate validation. This kind of communication demands vulnerability paired with strength. You allow yourself to be seen fully without frantic over-explanation or justification. Your desires become declarations, not questions. When you achieve this balance, people don't just hear you, they feel your conviction in their bones. It's also crucial to recognize the difference between confidence and arrogance. Calm confidence never needs to prove itself. It does not shout to be noticed or bend others to its will. Instead, it holds space for others' opinions while remaining firmly rooted in its own truth. This subtle humility attracts genuine respect and invites collaboration rather than resistance. Many struggle with the fear of rejection or judgment when expressing desires. This fear tightens the throat and quickens the speech. But each time you practice calm expression, you weaken the grip of that fear. You build resilience against the internal critic, telling you that you are not enough or that your desires are too big. Your voice becomes your armor, steady, sincere, and unyielding. Imagine how different your life could be if every time you voiced your needs or dreams, you did so with a clear, calm certainty that left no room for doubt. People would listen more closely, doors would open more easily, your energy would rise, and your confidence would become contagious. That vision is not distant. It begins the moment you decide to own your voice. To develop this skill, start with self-awareness. Notice how you currently express your desires. Are your words rushed or hesitant? Do you rush to fill silence or push to convince? Then practice slowing down your speech, breathing deeply, and focusing on clarity. Speak as if your words already hold power, because they do. Over time, this habit rewires your brain and transforms your inner dialogue. Speaking your desires with calm confidence also means knowing your worth deeply. When you believe that what you want is not only possible but rightfully yours, your speech naturally reflects that truth. You stop apologizing for your ambitions and start owning them. This shift eliminates the internal struggle that often makes people talk themselves out of what they truly want. The ability to communicate this way changes everything, from relationships and career to your inner sense of peace. When your voice is steady, your desires are no longer a source of anxiety but a beacon guiding you toward your future. You move from chaos to control, from confusion to clarity. This journey demands patience. Change won't happen overnight. But every time you choose calm over chaos, steady over shaky, you are strengthening the foundation for a life lived with intention and power. The world may not always respond immediately, but your internal transformation is irreversible. The choice is yours. Keep speaking your desires with doubt and desperation, or step into the power of calm, steady confidence and watch how everything shifts around you. Your voice is more than sound. It is your declaration to the world that you are ready to receive, ready to act, and ready to win. Start today. Speak with clarity. Speak with purpose. Speak with the calm confidence that commands respect and attracts your dreams. Your future is listening. Make sure it hears you loud and clear. Chapter 14. Feed your mind with wisdom, not fear. What you feed your mind today becomes the story you live tomorrow. Choose wisdom, not fear, because one builds your empire while the other chains you in a cage of doubt. Every thought you entertain, every message you consume, shapes the blueprint of your future. When fear sneaks in disguised as caution, it steals your power quietly, convincing you that survival is all you deserve. But wisdom, even in the smallest doses, ignites your potential and expands your horizon beyond what you thought possible. Imagine waking up each day with a mind fueled by knowledge, clarity, and courage rather than anxiety and what-ifs. Picture how your energy would shift if, instead of feeding your brain with the headlines of doom or the endless loop of worries, you deliberately consumed lessons that inspire growth and resilience. The difference is like night and day. Fear clouds your vision, paralyzing progress, while wisdom illuminates the path forward, inviting action. It's easy to fall into the trap of fear. The world is full of alarming news, negative voices, and stories that trigger the survival instinct in you. Fear feels urgent. It shouts at you, demanding attention. But wisdom speaks softly, often overlooked, because it doesn't scream for your immediate reaction. It requires patience, reflection, and a commitment to seek truth beyond the noise. Yet wisdom lasts. Fear is temporary and fleeting, yet its scars can linger forever if you don't confront it. Think about the moments when fear stopped you, the opportunities you let slip because your mind was overwhelmed with doubts and what could go wrong scenarios. Those moments don't define you unless you let them, but every time you feed your mind with wisdom instead of fear, you rewrite those moments with strength. You create a new narrative where challenges become lessons and setbacks fuel your determination. There's a deep psychological trick at play here. Your mind cannot hold two opposing thoughts at once. When wisdom fills the space, fear has no room to grow. This means your daily mental diet controls whether fear dominates or wisdom thrives. What you allow to stay in your head controls your mood, your actions, and ultimately your results. Let's consider how wisdom actually looks in your life. It is the courage to face uncertainty with knowledge, not the illusion of control. It is the understanding that failure is a stepping stone, not a dead end. Wisdom teaches you to question the stories fear tells you and to replace them with truths grounded in your values and experience. When fear whispers that you are not enough, wisdom counters with the facts of your past victories and your capacity to learn. One person I know lived for years under the heavy weight of fear, constantly worried about what might go wrong, paralyzed by the worst-case scenarios. This fear built walls around his mind, limiting every decision and narrowing his world. Then he decided to shift his mental nourishment. Instead of feeding panic, he sought wisdom, reading books that empowered him, surrounding himself with mentors who challenged his limiting beliefs, and practicing mindfulness to catch fearful thoughts before they spiraled. Slowly but surely, his mindset transformed. Fear lost its grip, replaced by a calm clarity that allowed him to take bold steps. The results were extraordinary. Doors opened, relationships deepened, and his goals came within reach. Feeding your mind with wisdom means being deliberate about the content you consume and the conversations you engage in. It requires discerning what adds value and what drains your mental energy. This is a practice of self-respect. You wouldn't fill your body with junk food and expect to feel strong, so why allow toxic mental input to dominate your thoughts? Many underestimate the power of their mental environment. Just as you curate your physical surroundings to support productivity and peace, your mind needs a nurturing atmosphere. Limit exposure to fear-mongering media, avoid gossip that triggers anxiety, and distance yourself from people who amplify doubt. Instead, immerse yourself in ideas that challenge you to grow, that spark curiosity, and that build resilience. There's a powerful cycle when you feed wisdom consistently. It builds confidence, which reduces fear, which opens the door to more learning, which leads to even greater wisdom. It's a momentum that feeds itself. But if fear dominates your mental diet, you stay trapped in a loop of hesitation, missed chances, and regret. One key to feeding your mind with wisdom is to embrace curiosity over judgment. Fear often thrives in the unknown by imagining the worst. Wisdom invites you to explore the unknown with questions, not conclusions. When you shift from fear-driven assumptions to curious investigation, your mind becomes a tool for discovery rather than a prison of anxiety. Another powerful practice is reflection. Spend time each day identifying which thoughts stem from fear and which are rooted in wisdom. This awareness alone weakens fear's control. Then consciously replace fearful thoughts with wise affirmations, statements grounded in reality, experience, and hope. Over time, this rewiring reshapes your thinking patterns. Remember, wisdom isn't about being perfect or never experiencing fear. It's about choosing what you allow to grow in your mind. Fear may appear, but it need not stay. When you feed your mind with wisdom, you build immunity to the lies fear tells. Now ask yourself, what are you feeding your mind right now? Is it the clutter of fear or the clarity of wisdom? This question is not trivial. It is the gateway to transformation. If you want to live with courage, peace, and unstoppable momentum, you must guard your mental diet as fiercely as you guard your physical health. Start today by making a conscious choice to seek wisdom actively. Read books that challenge you, listen to stories of resilience, surround yourself with voices that uplift, and question the fearful narratives before they take root. This is a lifelong commitment, but one that pays infinite dividends. Your mind is a garden. If you plant seeds of fear, you will harvest anxiety and limitation. But if you nourish it with wisdom, you will cultivate strength, clarity, and freedom. The choice is yours, and it is more powerful than you realize. Feed your mind wisely, and watch how your life changes, not because the world becomes easier, but because you become stronger, wiser, and unshakable in the face of any storm. Let this moment mark the turning point. The next thought you choose to nurture could be the one that changes everything. Guard your mind. Feed it with wisdom. Your future depends on it. Chapter 15. Detach from outcomes and trust your actions. The moment you stop clinging to the outcome, you unlock a freedom so profound it changes everything about how you live and succeed. When your energy is tied to the results instead of your efforts, you're giving your power away to forces beyond your control. But the truth is, your peace and progress don't depend on what happens. They depend on what you do. This is the secret to unstoppable momentum, detaching from outcomes and trusting your actions completely. Think about how often you have felt paralyzed by fear of failure or consumed by anxiety over what might or might not happen. This attachment to results creates a roller coaster of emotions where every high and low steals your focus and drains your energy. You might have noticed how the worry about the end result distracts you from giving your best in the present moment. When you cling to outcomes, you become hostage to chance, waiting for validation from a future you cannot guarantee. This trap keeps many stuck, anxious, and exhausted. Now imagine a different way, one where your attention is laser-focused on the actions you take every day, no matter how small, without obsessing over the fruits of those efforts. This is not about indifference or laziness. It's about cultivating trust in yourself and the process. When you detach from outcomes, you embrace uncertainty without fear because your confidence rests in your consistent, deliberate effort. The result becomes a byproduct, not the master of your emotions. There's a powerful story from the life of a great athlete who learned this lesson the hard way. For years, his performance hinged on winning medals, breaking records, and public acclaim. Every race felt like a battle between hope and dread, leaving him anxious and disconnected from the joy of the sport itself. Then a mentor introduced him to a mindset shift, focused solely on preparing, training, and showing up with integrity, regardless of the final scoreboard. When he embraced this, his anxiety faded, his performance soared, and the medals followed, not as the goal but as natural outcomes of his dedication. Trusting your actions means showing up for yourself even when the world feels uncertain. It's about valuing the process more than the prize and finding meaning in growth instead of external approval. This shift brings a calm certainty that no matter what happens, you are moving forward with purpose and integrity. One reason this is so challenging is because our culture glorifies results. We measure success by the end product, the final number, the promotion, or the approval. But this focus creates pressure and fear. You begin to associate your self-worth with outcomes rather than the effort and character you display along the way. This is an unstable foundation. When you attach your identity to results, every setback becomes a crisis, and every success is fleeting. Detaching from outcomes doesn't mean you stop caring about your goals. It means you care differently, deeply about the effort, the learning, and the improvement. You stop chasing external validation and start building internal trust. When your satisfaction stems from your actions, you regain control over your mindset, your energy, and your life. This detachment allows you to remain resilient in the face of setbacks. Instead of being devastated by a failure, you see it as feedback, as information that guides your next move. You become like a river flowing around obstacles, persistent and flexible. The storm might rage, but your foundation remains steady because it's rooted in what you control, your commitment to keep going. Another powerful effect is that when you detach from outcomes, your motivation transforms from desperation to inspiration. Fear of failure loses its grip because your drive isn't dependent on winning or losing. Instead, your passion becomes about the pursuit itself, growth, mastery, contribution, and becoming your best self. This freedom opens a space for creativity and boldness, as you no longer fear the consequences of trying. Consider how this principle plays out in everyday life. When you worry about the final result of a presentation, a job interview, or a difficult conversation, your performance suffers because your mind is divided. But when you focus entirely on preparing, practicing, and communicating with honesty, your energy flows naturally, and the outcome becomes secondary. You find strength in the process, not the praise. It takes courage to release the need to control results because control feels like safety. Yet paradoxically, control is an illusion, and clinging to it fuels anxiety. Real safety comes from trusting yourself and your ability to respond no matter what unfolds. This trust is built one action at a time, showing up, doing the work, learning from mistakes and recommitting. It's an unshakable confidence born from experience, not luck. To begin detaching from outcomes, start by identifying where you are most attached. Notice when your thoughts fixate on the end result, or when you feel overwhelmed by what-if scenarios. Instead of fighting those thoughts, acknowledge them, then gently redirect your attention back to the next right action. Make this a daily habit, a deliberate choice to anchor yourself in the present effort. Reflect on your past successes. How many times did consistent effort, even without immediate reward, lead to growth and breakthroughs? Recognize that every step forward, regardless of visible outcome, builds the foundation for long-term success. Celebrate your discipline and courage in showing up, regardless of what the scoreboard says. This mindset shift also deepens your emotional resilience. When you stop tying your happiness to outcomes, you protect yourself from crushing disappointment. You become less reactive to external circumstances and more grounded in your internal values. This steadiness allows you to handle challenges with grace and maintain focus on what truly matters. Now imagine carrying this wisdom into every area of your life: work, relationships, health, and personal dreams. Detaching from outcomes liberates you from the paralyzing weight of expectations and opens your heart to take bold, fearless action. You find peace in the process and joy in the journey, no matter the destination. Here is the truth: your actions are the seeds of your future, but the harvest is not yours to dictate. By surrendering the need to control the harvest, you free yourself to plant with passion, water with care, and nurture with patience. Trust that the cycle will unfold as it should. This shift will challenge you. Old habits of control and worry will surface, trying to pull you back into the attachment trap. But each time you choose to trust your actions and release the outcome, you strengthen a muscle of freedom that no external circumstance can break. Take a moment right now and make a promise to yourself to show up fully in your efforts, to take consistent action aligned with your values, and to let go of the anxiety about the end result. Know that your worth and progress depend on your dedication to the journey, not the destination. Remember, the greatest achievers didn't succeed because they controlled outcomes. They succeeded because they mastered the art of relentless, focused action without fear of what might come. Your breakthrough lies in the same place, so start today. Detach from the outcome, trust your process. Show up with fierce commitment to your actions. In doing so, you will find a freedom and power that transforms your life from the inside out. You are ready to step into this new way of living. The only question is, will you? Chapter 16. Set high standards and honor them every day. If you want to change your life, nothing will matter more than the standards you set for yourself and whether you honor them every single day. High standards are not just lofty ideals or distant goals. They are the invisible architecture of your character, the quiet promises you make to your own soul. When you commit to living by high standards and refuse to settle for less, you ignite a powerful force inside that refuses to accept mediocrity in any form. Most people drift through life accepting whatever comes their way because they haven't yet realized the impact of the standards they hold. They let excuses, distractions, and comfort zones dictate their actions. But you are not most people. You are here because you want more purpose, more achievement, more respect from yourself and others. That journey begins with a single, often overlooked truth: what you demand from yourself daily shapes your entire destiny. Picture this. Every morning you wake up and face choices. Do you hit snooze or rise with discipline? Do you feed your mind with distractions or wisdom? Do you do the bare minimum or push beyond what feels comfortable? These moments, often small and silent, are the battleground where your standards are tested. Your future depends on how you answer these questions consistently, not occasionally. Setting high standards means refusing to negotiate with mediocrity. It means refusing to accept shortcuts that undermine your integrity. It means saying no to habits and influences that don't serve your growth. This isn't about perfection. It's about commitment, steadfast, daily commitment to being the person you aspire to be. Think about someone you deeply respect. What makes them admirable? It's not just their talents or achievements. It's their discipline to uphold principles when no one is watching. Their unwavering resolve to meet the standards they set for themselves, no matter how tough it gets. When you honor your standards, you earn a similar respect, not just from others, but from your own inner self. But honoring high standards is difficult because it often demands sacrifice. It requires you to resist immediate gratification for long-term gain. It challenges you to rise above excuses and justifications. When tiredness, doubt, or fear creep in, your standards become your anchor, reminding you why you started and who you are becoming. One of the most powerful examples of honoring high standards comes from the world of elite athletes. Their training isn't just physical, it's mental. They stick to routines. Others abandon. They reject temptations that would derail progress. They push through pain and setbacks because their standards demand it. Their daily actions reflect a deeper promise to themselves that they will not quit, no matter the obstacles. You might wonder, but how do I create these high standards for myself? The answer lies in clarity and self-awareness. Start by defining what excellence means to you in every area of your life: work, relationships, health, mindset. Write down what behaviors, habits, and attitudes align with that vision. These become your non-negotiables. Once set, your job is to honor them with ruthless consistency. Each day, ask yourself, did I meet my own expectations today? If the answer is no, don't judge yourself harshly. Instead, identify what caused the slip and recommit immediately. Growth is about momentum, not perfection. Every small victory builds a foundation for bigger wins. High standards also create a ripple effect on your environment. When you respect yourself, others start to see your value. You attract people who honor their own standards, which fuels your progress. You create an upward spiral where excellence becomes your norm, not an occasional event. There is a hidden power in living with high standards. It trains your mind to reject excuses automatically. When you've committed to a standard, excuses sound like noise that no longer holds power. You develop mental toughness that carries you through doubt, fatigue, and frustration. This toughness doesn't come from willpower alone, but from an identity rooted in discipline and integrity. Every time you honor your standards, you reinforce your self-respect. This self-respect fuels motivation and courage. It becomes a shield against the temptations to settle or quit. Instead of relying on fleeting bursts of inspiration, you cultivate lasting momentum grounded in your principles. Living with high standards also transforms how you see challenges. Instead of fearing failure or discomfort, you welcome them as opportunities to prove your commitment. You understand that the struggle is part of the journey, a test of whether you will uphold your promises to yourself. This mindset turns obstacles into stepping stones rather than barriers. If you want to live a life of impact and fulfillment, know this: greatness is built in the small daily actions that align with your highest standards. It's built in the choices you make when no one is watching, when no immediate reward is visible. These choices are the true measure of character and the foundation of extraordinary success. Start today by identifying one area where you can raise your standards. Maybe it's waking up earlier, focusing more deeply at work, speaking to yourself with kindness, or choosing healthier habits. Set a clear expectation and honor it without fail. Watch how this single act builds momentum in every part of your life. As you grow in honoring your standards, you will notice a shift inside. Doubts will lose their grip. Confidence will rise. Your self-worth will become independent of external approval. You will walk through life with a quiet but unshakable power, the power that comes from living true to your highest commitments. Your standards are your silent promise to the person you are becoming. Each day you honor that promise. You deepen your connection with your purpose and potential. The world will test you with challenges, distractions, and temptations, but your standards will stand as your compass, guiding you back to the path of growth and achievement. So now is the time to make a decision that will change everything. Refuse to settle. Refuse to accept anything less than your best. Set your standards high and honor them fiercely every day. This is how ordinary people become extraordinary. This is how you unlock the full power of your life. You have the strength to do this. You have the clarity to see what matters. You have the courage to choose what you deserve. The question isn't if you can, it's if you will. Will you rise to the challenge of your own greatness? Will you show up for yourself with relentless integrity? The moment you start honoring your standards every day, you begin to rewrite your story. You become unstoppable. The person you dream of becoming is waiting on the other side of your commitment. Take that step now. Own it. Live it. and watch how your life transforms beyond what you imagined possible. Chapter 17. Move with clarity instead of overthinking everything. Overthinking is the silent thief of progress, stealing your clarity and turning every decision into a battlefield of doubt and confusion. If you find yourself trapped in endless cycles of what-ifs and second-guessing, understand this: every moment spent tangled in your mind's web is a moment lost in action, lost in growth, lost in the life you want to live. Imagine standing at the edge of a path, paralyzed, not because you lack options, but because you can't decide which step to take first. Your mind floods with possibilities, consequences, and fears, each one louder than the last. This is where clarity becomes your most powerful ally, the force that cuts through noise, centers your focus, and propels you forward with confidence. The truth is, clarity is not something you wait to find passively. It's something you create actively by choosing to move with intention, even when the full picture isn't clear. You don't need to have every answer before you act. You only need enough to take the next step and trust that more clarity will come through movement. There was a time when many of us believed that overthinking was a sign of intelligence, a sign of care, but what it really signals is fear disguised as caution. Fear that if you make the wrong choice, everything will fall apart. Fear that mistakes will define you. This fear chains you to inaction, and inaction is the enemy of success. When you allow overthinking to dominate, your mind becomes a prison of what-ifs that never materialize. You replay conversations, scrutinize past decisions, and predict future failures, but none of this changes your reality. Instead, it drains your energy and clouds your judgment. Real clarity emerges when you break free from this mental fog. Movement is the antidote. Action, even imperfect action, reveals truths that no amount of thinking can uncover. When you move, you gather information. You learn what works and what doesn't. You adjust your course based on real experience, not speculation. This process turns confusion into clarity, uncertainty into progress. Think about the most successful people you admire. Rarely did they wait for perfect conditions before stepping forward. They made decisions based on the best information they had and committed fully. They understood that clarity follows action, not the other way around. The mind craves certainty, but life thrives in uncertainty. The moments when you push past doubt and act anyway are the moments you grow stronger. You become resilient, adaptable, and wise. Your confidence builds not from flawless decisions, but from the courage to choose and move regardless. You may ask, how do I stop overthinking when my mind won't stop spinning? The answer lies in shifting your focus from endless analysis to deliberate movement. Start by defining a clear, simple next step you can take today. It doesn't have to be monumental. It can be as small as sending an email, making a phone call, or setting a timer to work on a task for 10 minutes. This small act of movement breaks the cycle of overthinking. It rewires your brain to seek clarity through doing, rather than through excessive pondering. Over time, this practice strengthens your ability to trust your instincts and make decisions faster. Another key is to develop mental boundaries around your thinking. Set limits on how much time you will spend analyzing a decision. When the timer ends, commit to moving forward regardless of lingering doubts. This trains your mind to respect action as the pathway to clarity. Also, embrace the concept of good enough rather than perfect. Waiting for perfect conditions is a form of procrastination disguised as preparation. Good enough means you have gathered sufficient information to take a reasonable risk. It means accepting that mistakes are part of the process, not the end of the road. Overthinking also thrives on a fear of failure that's amplified by a desire to control every variable. Accept that control is an illusion. You cannot predict or manage every outcome. Instead, focus on what you can control: your effort, your attitude, and your willingness to adjust as you go. When you learn to detach from outcomes and trust your actions, clarity begins to grow organically. You start to see obstacles not as dead ends but as signals to pivot, learn, and grow. Each step forward sharpens your vision of what's truly important, allowing you to make better choices with less mental strain. Moving with clarity transforms your relationship with uncertainty. It shifts you from being a passive observer caught in analysis paralysis to an active creator shaping your destiny. The feeling of empowerment that comes from decisive action is unlike any other. It energizes your mind and body, builds momentum, and ignites your sense of purpose. Every great achievement in history started with a single step taken despite uncertainty. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck is that the successful choose to act. They accept imperfection and keep moving until the fog clears. You can do the same. This doesn't mean you abandon wisdom or ignore risks. It means balancing thoughtful planning with courageous execution. It means understanding that clarity is not a prerequisite for action, but a reward for it. You move forward, learn, adapt, and then move again with greater confidence. Your mind is a tool, not a tyrant. You decide whether it serves you or controls you. When you train yourself to move with clarity instead of drowning in overthinking, you reclaim your power. You step into the driver's seat of your life with intention and resolve. So today, make a choice. Choose action over hesitation. Choose clarity over confusion. Choose movement over stagnation. Identify one area where you've been stuck in thought and take a decisive step forward. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but that discomfort is a sign you're breaking old patterns. With each step, your clarity will sharpen, your confidence will deepen, and your path will become clearer. This is how momentum is built, one bold move at a time. The life you desire is waiting beyond the fog of your doubts. The only way to reach it is to move toward it with courage and clarity. You have everything you need within you to break free from overthinking, the power to decide, the strength to act, and the wisdom to learn along the way. Trust yourself enough to move even when the full path isn't visible. The future belongs to those who act with clarity today. Start now. Move forward. Watch your life change as clarity replaces hesitation and progress becomes your new normal. Your next step is the key to unlocking everything you want. Don't wait for perfect clarity. Create it by moving boldly into your future. Chapter 18. Learn from every failure and adjust your strategy. Failure is not the enemy. It is the teacher you desperately need, but often fear to face. Every setback, every mistake, every time you fall is a signal pointing you toward what needs to change, what you must learn, and how you can grow stronger. The real failure is to ignore these signals, to let disappointment blind you, and to give up before you adjust your course. Picture the moment after you've tried your best, and things didn't work out. The world seems to shrink. Your heart tightens, and a voice inside whispers, "Maybe this isn't meant for you." That voice is the voice of fear disguised as self-doubt. It wants you to settle, to stay in your comfort zone, and to abandon the dreams that scare you the most. But what if you looked at failure differently, not as a dead end, but as a guidepost? Every failure carries a lesson wrapped in discomfort. It reveals cracks in your plan, weaknesses in your approach, and assumptions you may have made without questioning. It exposes where you need to dig deeper, work smarter, or pivot entirely. The power lies in your response. Do you crumble under the weight of failure, or do you rise, absorb the lesson, and reshape your strategy? Think about the most successful people throughout history. Their stories are not just about triumph, but about the countless times they failed and refused to be defeated. Thomas Edison didn't invent the light bulb on the first try. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His persistence was fueled by a mindset that treated failure as data, not defeat. When you learn to analyze your failures objectively, you shift from a victim mindset to a problem-solving mindset. You stop blaming yourself or external circumstances and start asking powerful questions. What went wrong? What could I have done differently? What patterns are emerging? What did I overlook? These questions open doors to insight and empower you to create better plans. Adjusting your strategy doesn't mean abandoning your goals. It means adapting your methods. It's a sign of strength, not weakness, to recognize that the path to your dreams may not be a straight line. Flexibility combined with persistence is a formula for unstoppable progress. One of the biggest traps is to let failure erode your confidence. When a project fails or an opportunity slips through your fingers, you might start doubting your abilities or your worth. This is a dangerous road that leads to giving up. Instead, remind yourself that failure is a temporary state, not a permanent identity. Your value is not defined by outcomes but by your willingness to keep learning and growing. Embracing failure requires emotional courage. It's uncomfortable to face your mistakes and take responsibility for them. It's even harder to make changes after you've invested time, energy, and hope. Yet this discomfort is the soil where growth happens. When you face it head-on, you build resilience and deepen your understanding of yourself and your craft. The key is to develop a feedback loop that integrates learning from failure into your daily routine. After every setback, take time to reflect honestly without judgment. Write down your observations, adjust your goals, and map out new steps. This disciplined approach turns failures into stepping stones and keeps you moving forward with clarity. Remember, success rarely comes from repeating the same actions and expecting different results. If something isn't working, stubbornness becomes a liability. Wisdom lies in the ability to pivot, test new approaches, and experiment without fear of losing face or pride. It's important to celebrate the courage to fail as much as you celebrate victories. Every time you confront failure and use it as fuel for growth, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than any obstacle. You rewrite your story from one of defeat to one of relentless progress. Your journey will be filled with surprises. Some failures will be crushing, others barely noticeable. Some will teach you technical lessons, others will challenge your mindset and character. Each failure shapes you into a more capable, wiser version of yourself. Don't wait for perfection or a guaranteed win before you act. Accept that setbacks are part of the process. Each failure is an opportunity to refine your strategy and become more aligned with your true potential. This mindset turns obstacles into opportunities and transforms frustration into motivation. As you learn from failures, cultivate patience. Real growth takes time and repetition. Trust that with every adjustment you are closer to the results you desire. Success is often a result of persistence through many cycles of trial, error, and learning. So embrace failure as an essential part of your journey. Welcome the discomfort, seek the lessons, and commit to adapting your strategy relentlessly. Your future self will thank you for having the courage to face what didn't work and the wisdom to improve. Now ask yourself, what failure are you avoiding? What lessons are you missing because you're afraid to look? Take a moment to confront that fear. Write down what you've learned and plan one change you will make today. This simple act will set you on a path of continuous growth and unstoppable momentum. Failure is not your enemy. It's your greatest teacher. Use it to sharpen your mind, fuel your passion, and guide your actions. Every failure you learn from is a victory in disguise. Keep moving, keep adjusting, and watch how your life transforms as you harness the power hidden in every setback. Start now, own your failures, extract every lesson, refine your approach. The path to success is built by those who refuse to let failure define them and instead allow it to refine them. You have the strength, the wisdom, and the resilience to turn failure into your greatest advantage. Take that step today and never look back. Chapter 19. Stay patient while your efforts begin to work. Patience is not just a virtue, it's the secret weapon that turns your sweat, tears, and endless effort into unstoppable success. The most painful moments often come before the breakthrough, when everything feels slow, uncertain, and almost like it's not working at all. But this is exactly when your patience matters the most. Imagine planting a seed. You don't dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You water it, nourish it, and trust the process. Even though the earth looks unchanged, your life works the same way. Your efforts, no matter how consistent and focused, take time to manifest visible results. This waiting period is where most people quit. They expect instant change, and when it doesn't happen, frustration replaces hope. When you start something new, whether it's building a career, learning a skill, or healing from a setback, your mind craves immediate feedback. It wants proof that your struggle is not wasted. But growth happens under the surface, in ways you can't immediately see or measure. This invisible progress is real and powerful. It's the quiet building of strength, confidence, and momentum that will eventually burst into success. Every day you choose patience, you're choosing faith in yourself and your journey. You are deciding not to be a prisoner of the temporary discomfort of waiting. Instead, you become the master of your inner world, calm and steady, even when the outer world shows no signs of movement. There is a deep emotional battle during this waiting time. Doubts creep in. Am I wasting my time? Is this really worth it? Should I just give up? These thoughts are natural, but they can be lethal if you give them power. Your mind can be your greatest ally or your worst enemy depending on how you train it. Staying patient means embracing discomfort without letting it control you. It means holding your vision steady while your environment seems to resist your progress. You must learn to tolerate uncertainty and develop the ability to keep pushing forward without the usual external rewards or recognition. Remember, no great achievement has ever happened overnight. The world's most inspiring success stories are often years in the making, filled with countless moments of waiting, grinding, and pushing through invisible barriers. The athlete who breaks records, the entrepreneur who builds empires, the artist who creates masterpieces, all of them lived through seasons of invisible work. When you recognize that patience is an active state, not a passive one, your mindset shifts. You stop waiting for things to happen and start preparing for when they do. Every hour you invest while waiting is not wasted. It's your foundation growing stronger, your skills sharpening, and your resilience hardening. One way to strengthen patience is by celebrating small wins that happen along the way. These wins may be unseen by others, but are victories for you. Maybe it's a new habit formed, a skill slightly improved, or a mindset shifted. These milestones are proof that progress is happening, even if it's not yet obvious to the outside world. Visualize your goal as a mountain summit hidden in the clouds. You can't see the peak clearly yet, but every step you take moves you closer. Some days you climb steep slopes, other days you rest on flat terrain. Both are necessary. Patience teaches you to respect the journey and understand that the climb cannot be rushed. The alternative to patience is rushing and reacting impulsively, jumping from one idea to another, losing consistency, and burning out before you ever reach your goal. Impatience is the enemy of mastery. It kills momentum and leaves you stuck in frustration, always chasing quick fixes that never deliver. When your patience is tested, use it as a moment to deepen your commitment. Instead of questioning your path, double down on your effort and trust the process more fiercely. Remind yourself why you started and what you're fighting for. This is your anchor in the storm of uncertainty. It's also important to realize that patience doesn't mean inactivity. While you wait for your efforts to bear fruit, Keep improving, learning, and adjusting your approach. Patience is about steady action, without the pressure of immediate results. It's a calm, persistent pursuit of progress. Think about the people you admire most, the ones who inspire you to keep going. Almost always, their greatness is the result of years of patient effort, failure, and quiet persistence. They stayed in the game long after others gave up. Their patience created space for greatness to emerge. You might feel alone in your patience struggle, but you are not. Everyone faces the challenge of waiting for their hard work to pay off. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is often simply who endures the waiting period with faith and resilience. So, when you feel the urge to quit, remember this: your efforts are like invisible investments in a future you haven't yet seen. Your patience is the bridge that connects your current struggle to your ultimate success. Every moment of persistence is a seed planted in fertile soil. Make a promise to yourself today to honor your efforts by staying patient. Understand that your breakthrough is coming, but only if you don't give up before the magic happens. Cultivate peace in the waiting, discipline in your actions, and faith in the process. Start looking at patience not as a barrier, but as your secret strength. The longer you hold steady, the more you build the unshakable foundation you need to support your dreams. Patience is the silent power that transforms ordinary efforts into extraordinary results. Challenge yourself to find joy in the waiting. Use this time to grow internally, deepen your vision, and sharpen your skills. Let patience become a daily practice, a powerful habit that pushes you beyond frustration and into unstoppable momentum. Your story is still being written, and the best chapters are yet to come. Stay patient while your efforts begin to work. This is your moment to show up fully, endure quietly, and prepare yourself for the success that is patiently waiting to meet you. Now take a deep breath, steady your heart, and commit to the long game. The universe rewards those who wait with unwavering faith. Your time is on the horizon. Hold on, stay patient, and watch your world change in ways you never imagined possible. Chapter 20. Commit fully to mastering your mind for life. Your mind is the battlefield where every victory or defeat in life is first decided. Master it, and you master everything. This is not a choice, it's a necessity. Committing fully to mastering your mind is the single most powerful decision you will ever make, because the quality of your life depends entirely on the clarity, strength, and discipline of your inner world. Think about the countless moments when your mind betrayed you, times you doubted yourself, gave in to fear, or let negative thoughts control your actions. These moments are not accidents. They reveal a mind untrained, left to wander into chaos and confusion. But here's the truth that changes everything. Your mind is not your enemy, it is your greatest ally, waiting patiently for you to step up and take command. Imagine your mind as a wild stallion, untamed. It bucks, runs in circles, and sows disorder, but when you commit to mastery, you become the rider who controls its power, guiding it with precision and purpose toward the life you desire. This transformation demands total dedication, not just for a day or a week, but for a lifetime. Mastering your mind is a lifelong journey that requires relentless focus and unshakable commitment. The battle for your mind starts with awareness. Most people live their lives on autopilot, driven by random thoughts, emotions, and external influences. They react instead of respond, letting their feelings dictate their choices. Mastery begins when you stop letting your mind run the show and start observing it carefully. This means recognizing harmful thought patterns, identifying limiting beliefs, and refusing to entertain doubts that don't serve your growth. Once you become aware, the next step is to take full responsibility for what you allow into your mental space. Your mind is a garden, and every thought is a seed. If you plant weeds of negativity, fear, and self-sabotage, That is exactly what will grow. But if you consciously cultivate seeds of courage, discipline, and positive belief, your mind will bloom into a powerful force that propels you forward. This isn't easy, because the mind is stubborn and comfortable in its familiar patterns. Changing this requires a warrior's resolve. A crucial part of mastering your mind is training it to focus. Distraction is the enemy of clarity and progress. In a world buzzing with noise, your ability to zero in on what truly matters becomes a superpower. Every time your attention drifts, you lose precious energy and momentum. The strongest minds learn to pull themselves back from distraction immediately and channel all their resources into deliberate, purposeful action. Emotional mastery is equally important. Your feelings are signals, but they must never be the dictators of your decisions. When you commit to mastering your mind, you develop the skill to acknowledge emotions without being overwhelmed by them. This doesn't mean suppressing how you feel, but managing your reactions so that your emotions serve as guides rather than barriers. Calmness under pressure, resilience in the face of setbacks, and confidence in uncertainty become your new normal. You also must develop the habit of feeding your mind with empowering inputs daily. The people you listen to, the books you read, the conversations you have, all these shape your mental environment. Commit to surrounding yourself with sources of inspiration, knowledge, and encouragement that elevate your thinking. Avoid toxic influences that drain your mental energy and cloud your judgment. What you consume mentally reflects immediately in your mindset. Another layer of mind mastery is mastering your self-talk. The internal dialogue you have with yourself is the foundation of your identity. If you speak to yourself with doubt, criticism, or defeat, you build a weak self-image that limits your potential. But if you consistently affirm your strengths, capabilities, and worth, you create an unbreakable foundation of confidence and self-respect. This is not a simple trick. It's a powerful psychological strategy that rewires your brain for success. Commitment to your mind also means embracing discomfort and challenge. Growth never happens inside the comfort zone. Your mind will resist change because it fears the unknown, but true mastery is about pushing through that resistance. When you face difficult thoughts or painful emotions, you don't run away or ignore them. You meet them head-on with courage and curiosity, using them as fuel for transformation. Consistency is the secret ingredient in this journey. Mastery is not a one-time event or a sudden realization. It's the daily practice of choosing your thoughts, regulating your emotions, and focusing your attention on what elevates you. Each day you invest in your mind builds cumulative strength, just like a muscle growing stronger through repetition and effort. Consider the countless successful individuals throughout history. They didn't reach their heights by chance. They made a conscious, relentless commitment to mastering their minds, often in the face of overwhelming odds. Their secret was discipline, controlling their inner world so completely that no external circumstance could shake their focus or belief. You must see your mind as the most valuable asset you own. Protect it fiercely, train it diligently, and honor it every day. The clarity you seek, the peace you desire, and the power to create your ideal life all originate here, in the sanctuary of your mind. Imagine waking up every morning with a mind so disciplined that distractions dissolve, doubts fade away, and your purpose becomes crystal clear. Imagine living without the internal noise that drains your energy and steals your joy. This reality is available to you if you commit fully, not halfway, not temporarily but completely, to mastering your mind. This is your call to action. Start now, this moment, by taking control of your thoughts. Observe what you are thinking right now. Are these thoughts building you up or tearing you down? From this awareness, choose one positive, empowering thought and hold on to it. Repeat this small act every day. Build this practice into your life like breathing. It must become automatic. Surround yourself with daily rituals that strengthen your mind: meditation, journaling, focused reading, or simple moments of silence. Protect your mental energy like a sacred resource. When negative thoughts arise, challenge them ruthlessly. When fear knocks, greet it with confidence. When distractions lure you away, pull yourself back with unyielding discipline. Know that mastering your mind is the ultimate life hack. It transforms your relationship with reality, your resilience, and your ability to create the life you want. It empowers you to face any challenge with grace and power, because you are no longer a victim of your thoughts. You are the commander of your mental empire. You are capable of this transformation. The mind you have right now is just the beginning. Commit fully to mastering it, and you will unlock a version of yourself you never thought possible. This commitment will change not just your life, but the legacy you leave behind. Your journey to mastery begins today, with the simple but profound decision to take control. There is no greater investment you can make than the one you make in your mind. Claim this power, own your inner world, and watch as every area of your life responds with exponential growth. Start now. Commit fully, master your mind for life, and watch yourself rise beyond every limit you once believed you had.